welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us. We have another stellar individual. She's busy in the community, making positive changes. Please welcome the founder of Children and Parents Empowerment, Melissa Hood. How are you doing today, Melissa?
I'm amazing. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Great, yeah. And I have to say that you look stunning.
Thank you, and so do you.
Thank you. Try, girl.
We're matching, you see?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. You know what? I'm really proud of you. I have to just say that. You know, I've been doing a little research, a little scoping you out on the internet, and I really see the heart in everything you're doing. And it's really moving, and it resonates very well with me, and as well as a community of people that you're transforming. So you got to know that you're doing phenomenal work. So please receive that, and I know there's so much more for you.
Thank you.
But let's talk about how it got there. You know, sometimes when things happen in life, and I look at my own journey, I say, wow, you know, I had to go through some stuff. And to get on the other side has made me such a stronger woman. What can we know about you in your story leading up to what you're doing today?
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
You're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of sweat and tears. It was a lot of researching. It was a lot of crying. It was a lot of trying to put my foot down. It was a lot of pleading and asking people, what can I do to help empower my children? You know, I had fit that statistic. I lived in poverty. I was recycled within my family. And I refused it to be passed down to my children. And as much as I'm a Black woman and I really wanted something different for my kids, and when I got connected through the right people, so it started with Karen Mannon, who is a behavior consultant through Geneva Center. When I met her, she gave me hope that I could help my son. At that time, I didn't know my eldest son was autistic. Like, I knew, but doctors and teachers are like, no, he's not. He's not autistic. He has ADHD, so put him on medication.
So he's misdiagnosed right off the bat.
At the age of 3, they wanted to put him on medication. I said, no. So with the whole journey, and I went along, I actually found one doctor. I said, you know what, Mom? Let me just listen to what you have to say.
Right.
And right on his 7th birthday, he was diagnosed with autism, high functioning. And I said, thank you. But now we look at 8 years of underservice. It was to the point he was in the French immersion stream, and the lack of support that was there, you know, they dropped the ball. They openly admitted that they dropped the ball. I said, okay. There was no services to help him, so I looked for private services. Again, that was too much money. Me being a single parent, I'm not rich. Like, even me trying to keep my head afloat with this high cost that's happening around the GTA, I can't do everything. So when he was forced out of the French back into the English stream, they were like, Mom, we hear what you have to say, but we're not really going to implement what you really want us to do.
Why not?
They were that was their way of saying, we're going to force your son out of the school. It was a way of them trying to not really support me as a parent. Again, as soon as my son came back into the English stream, the one principal, and I looked at him because I'm like, okay, you know, you're Black, I'm Black, you know, you'll get it. The behavior consultant says, Mom, give them a list of unexpected things or expected things of your son, because they weren't listening. There was a group of 10 people there, school board members, and we're talking about my son's behavior. Not one of them really wanted to talk about what does his behavior look like? How can we turn his behavior around? Because he outsmarted everybody, and he was very clever. So nobody wanted to really listen to that. So they dismissed me. Oh, the meeting is done. Let's get out of here. So when I gave them 20 things, or 23 or 80 something. It was a really long list. The principal at that time, I want to say he probably felt like when I came to him on the 4th day because he wanted to suspend my son. And this, at that time, I was not much, like I knew my rights, but I didn't really know my rights. I'm a paralegal. So it's like, I knew what they were trying to do, but I was also trying to work with them at the same time.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm trying to understand because I'm also an educator. And I also understand how the disability community are underserviced, they're misdiagnosed, they're misunderstood. So he's being judged as kind of a normally functioning child for bad behavior, I guess.
Yes.
And they're not looking at the fact that he has a special ability.
I've been telling them since he started at JK, he has traits of autism. He's been showing signs since he was born due to lack of medical services. And when my son has slipped into a 13-hour coma, none of the medicals referred him to a specialist. They're like, oh, he's fine. So at the end of the day, whether or not it was a genetic or something that had triggered, my son has it.
Right.
And they look, oh, he's just behaviorally, he's just one of those statistics. And when I became informed after this whole journey, when they had CAS on my back, left, right, and center, it was like, it was on speed dial.
CAS approaching you for what reason?
Because my son, there was at one point, my son, when the suspension started to happen, my son started to internalize that he wasn't good enough. So he started to speaking suicidal. They don't like me, mommy. Why am I here? I don't want to live.
Okay.
So my son started to feel the negative effect.
He was internalizing all the, I guess, the attacks, so to speak.
Yeah, like you singled him out. He's not stupid. And how do you guys really enforce a law on a young child who can't even comprehend his own abilities and his own condition?
Okay.
So my son had thought, like, okay, well, they're suspending me, so they don't like me. So in as much as I was sitting there telling these educators, we're going the wrong way about doing this. Like, we need to build a better partnership by, hey, mom, like, you know, can you come pick him up half day? Or I had mentioned, let's do in-community services by the time that he was in grade 3. Oh, we know what's best for your child. How do you know what's best for my child? You're not the parent.
Right, right.
I'm the parent. So I started getting a little off track, but eventually it led me up to meeting up with Tiffany Ford. I thought she was my trustee, and she wasn't.
She's awesome.
She's amazing because she got me connected with ACL. Met one lawyer. He gave me one of the things, like over 100-page document that they published through York University about the just how they, the Greater Toronto area, how they talk about Black kids in the education system and how they target them. I couldn't even finish reading it. I was like, what? I was sleepwalking, Nikki, for a very long time. And then all of a sudden that happened, and then I met Nia Singh and Sylvia Argentina Arouse through the Blood Project. Like, Legal Aid Ontario needs to fund that program all year round. They pulled the funding. When I got 8 suspensions eradicated from his
suspensions.
8. From his OSR, I was like, oh no. Because during that time, I was like, there's nothing out there. So when Tiffany's like, Melissa, there's nothing for me to refer parents to. And I was thinking, there needs to be a centralized building for parents and children. What can I do to help empower parents? And even at the same time, I was going through my own domestic situation, trying to flee from. It just got worse because I'm seeing a Black man not even helping his own child. Oh, I know the system. Leave him to the system. How are you leaving him to the system?
He's falling through the cracks.
Exactly. Like, you've been there, you've done that. Oh, he will eventually get out of it. I know what they did to me in the system. They misdiagnosed me. And I'm going to sit around and let them do that to my son? No, I couldn't. So when I found my purpose for CAPE, Children and Parents Empowerment, I said, I ran with it. I'm like, I started my petition. I started to invest my time. So it's been over a year, and I'm still going strong.
Awesome. That is awesome. That's where the pride comes from. I'm swollen with pride for that type of power that you have and being a champion, not only for your 2 sons. And how old are they?
I have 3 sons.
3 sons.
So I have 8, 5, and 4.
Okay. Very impressionable. Looking up to you for, love, nurturing, and you're stepping up for them. You're asserting for them. So this is breaking a cycle.
Yeah, it is.
You've broken them out of a chain, and now they're free because of you. And what you're doing is you're doing it for other parents too, who didn't know where to start, where to go.
Till this day, there's a lot of parents. Again, society has conditioned them a certain way when they got recycled. People are. When I was recycled in that system, I was told, because I fit that demographic, I'm undeserving to have my kids. So when parents fall through the crack, and then when they have the system using the system against them, like CAS, you have a profile already that they're ready to come and take your kids from you. Like, I've been through a lot.
And where do they go? Into the foster system?
And when you get into the foster system, is it safe? It's not. I was abused in CAS. I would never. They say that, it's supposed to keep children safe, but you get that one family. And it's like, what was the point of you taking me from my home? That we need to find a better place and build a better bridge for educators and parents, because at the end of the day, it's the educators and the parents. We have to mold over the rifts and cracks in the education system. We need to centralize a building for parents and children. We're losing our children by the dozen. Yeah. They're getting into gangs, they're getting into drugs, they're getting into sex trades, they're getting many things. Yeah. And it's like, because they don't have the confidence to really turn to somebody who's not going to be against them. Because parents, or even children who are even suffering from abuse at home, they can't go to these educators because they're afraid of the system, what the system may do. So I want to be able to say, you know what? The system's not going to work against you. Come home. It's a home away from home. Like
Dorothy. Safe place.
Yeah, like the Dorothy of the Wizard of Oz. Follow the yellow brick road. And that's what I want it to be. I want it to be a solar building, open 24 hours for parents and children to come in and say, wow, I do belong. Mm-hmm. I want people to feel empowered. A lot of people don't know their rights. And I want to be able to give that resource and those services free of access.
Awesome. You're a blessing there, Melissa.
Thank you.
So what's next for you?
Well, I have 2 projects under my belt. So I am part of the documentary What About Us? So coming out in
Congratulations.
March. Thank you.
And a shout out to Shelly Jarrett.
Yes, Shelly Jarrett. She's an amazing woman. I was very skeptical putting my story or having my story out because I've been abused for so long, for 32 years of my life. And Nikisha, she got my story. And she was like, nope, you're part of this. And, Palmonia Gordon, she referred me to Nikisha. And here I am.
Awesome.
So the next is Cape's next event. So we have 2 more events. So an expansion on the What About Us documentary, talking about Cape. What can Cape do for the community if we had a centralized building for parents and children? Mm-hmm. And getting into the school systems. I need to get into the school system because they look at me as an angry Black woman, right? So I want to be able to show them, like, I am the change. I was the missing piece of the puzzle. You're telling me as an educator, well, my son is missing. Medication is the missing piece of my son's puzzle, mm-hmm. when it's really not. It's me. And I want to be able to go and educate and mentor students who are going through so many things internally that are afraid to speak out.
Right.
We have all these things, and I wish if I had someone in the education system come and talk to me about abuse, talk to me about how do you feel, like where can you go, who can you trust? I wouldn't have gone through what I went through for so long.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's why you're here. So you're here, Melissa.
Yes.
And we love that you're here and keep doing what you're doing. So where can people reach you on social media? You're going to be part of this movement.
Yes, so I urge anybody who is about change, anybody who is about leadership, who wants to come and partner and centralize this building in Canada and the US, because I got the congratulations in the US that there is no place like home there. This idea, this invention is unique. Just like you see YouTube, just like you see Spotify, just like you see Google, it's a one-stop shop of resources. So they can hit me up on Instagram, Miss Kate, so ms._c.a.p.e. And I do have an online petition going. I do have over 400 signatures on papers, which I have to transfer over. But I do have an online link to my bio, so you can put your first name and your last name and your email. And I'm also taking signatures of children in the presence of the parents. It's to show the government officials, once we reach 1,000 signatures, that Canada and US parents need a home like this. We need a resource center. We need a one-stop shop. We need to start making change within us. And we need to do this together.
All right. Let's do this together.
I know, right?
Melissa Hood, thank you so much for your time.
Right.
Really
Thank you for having me.
appreciate you.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Melissa Hood, go check her out on social media. We'll be right back.
The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.NikkiClarkeNetwork.com.